It was only upon reflection after therapy and years past that I realized that a lot of the things that I went through up until now were results of me not truly loving myself. Hey guys, it's the hobbyist. I'm continuing on from my part one of I Didn't Love Myself series. I guess that's what I'm doing. I guess that's what I'm calling it. But yeah, this is a continuation. So we left off in 2019 where I feel like one of the first strikes of like my relationship failing. And I didn't want to admit it at the time because when we first got together, the world was against us. Not the world, but my world, my family, for the exception of people who came along board eventually, you know, or people who weren't really just a lot. Some people weren't tied to my outcome that much, or I just had one person in my life that was extremely tied to their expectations of me, and if I didn't meet their expectations, then I didn't exist to them. And that's a relationship that has yet to heal completely, and maybe it will, maybe it won't. I'm not sure. I digress. But yeah, at the time, considering all the things we had went through to be together and the baby we just had, I'm like, okay, I have to tough this out. I can't just bow down to this feeling. Honestly, I think that it was such a traumatic time for me that a lot of that is blurred out. 2019 was a very rough year for me. I'm going to say 2019 was more rough than 2020. And that's surprising to a lot of people considering that's the year the pandemic started. But 2019, I eventually get a job. I don't remember how many months it takes, how many weeks it takes. I feel like it doesn't take that long. Maybe I start working in May or June. Yeah, I start working in like May, something like that. And I find a little dispatching job. It didn't align with what I went to school for. I didn't feel like, oh, you're winning with this job. I felt like you need to eat, you know? So it was a blessing at the time. I also had to start like getting government assistance at this time. Yet and still, my ex is not like working. There's no wake up call for him to be like, oh, let me do better. Like him saying that to me and me reacting the way I did. I don't remember exactly how I reacted. I'm pretty sure I said something to him at the time, but Lord knows I cannot remember at this moment. I would be lying if I told you what I said or anything, because real talk, that's a blur. And I think it's because like, what do? You repress memories that are like really painful. That's how I felt. But like things started looking up because I started working again, and I also start my craft business that is called Adorned by D, and I'm making bracelets and jewelry, and I'm really expressing my creativity. You guys have seen it a little bit if you watch my channel. You have seen like me making my bracelets and stuff, and I said that I hadn't made it in years or whatever. That's the era I'm entering into. I'm starting to like find myself after baby and after trauma. Yeah, honestly, guys, 2019 is such a freaking blur. I can't even give any more tidbits about it because I think I'm repressing a lot of those memories. It had to be hard, though. It had to be hard on your girl. But it wasn't that hard because I conceived another baby. After my son's first birthday, I started having baby fever. And I was like, yep, it's time to make another baby. It's time. And I got the baby I prayed for, a little girl. And it's crazy. Like I said, everything I want for myself has been aligning. Like if I really sit back and really take inventory, every goal that I've set for myself has been accomplished. Like I remember when I was in college and I was dating a guy and I was like, I want to have two kids, a boy first and then a girl. The name is gonna be Amir and Amaya. My kids' names are not far off from those two names. Both A names. They're not far. If you know what my kids' names are, yeah, I was manifesting before I even knew what manifest was. But yeah, so we having another baby. Supposed to be excited, but ooh, his business venture with his friends falls off. He's no longer excited about being a dad for the second time. He's not excited about he's not excited about being nothing to nobody. We're in the gutter, in the trash. I'm like early pregnancy. We making it clear like, hey, he don't even like me no more. I'm like, woo, it was hard. It was hard. I don't even feel like I think I want to dig up that stuff right now because my whole pregnancy with my daughter, I'm happy she came out a loving, happy baby. That's all I got to say because her mama was going through it, like having ideations of ending my situation. You know what I'm saying? Like if you can read between the lines, because I don't want to trigger nobody, I was having them ideations and I wasn't feeling whole or complete. But my baby came out whole and complete, and she changed my mindset, but I'm gonna get to that soon. But end of 2019, I'm pregnant. I'm low key making strides. I'm like, hey, I start getting that itch. Like, you know what? This ain't even working out. I'm like, I need to start making some moves. But anyway, I'm like, I need to start reevaluating things. I'm pregnant with a baby. I got a baby that's not out of diapers. He ain't using the potty. He's a baby. I got a baby, and I got a baby inside of me. I'm like, I need to move. I need to get away. So I'm like, okay, 2020 come along, and I'm like, I'm about to make some strides to move up out of here. Pandemic hadn't hit yet, and the lease is up in April. I'm looking for places in March. But I'm like, dang, I can't really afford this for real. Like, it would be real tight for me to afford all of this. But I'm like, God will make a way and all that stuff. But once I start introducing this idea, of course, naturally, my ex starts to change his tune. He starts to change his behaviors. And I'm expecting a baby. So, of course, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm overreacting. We can stay together. We stay together. But when the universe, when God, when your inner voice tell you it's time to go, that voice is going to come back. It's not going to go away. It might be subsided. It might lay low for a minute, but it's always going to come back, because at the end of 2020, that's what it did. It came back, and it came back with some punches. And that's what propelled me. Like, all the events from 2020, and it's not even about the pandemic, like on some real stuff, what I was going through in my personal life, F the pandemic. The pandemic didn't exist in my house for real, because my relationship was a pandemic. My relationship was the Rona. It was rough in these streets. It was rough. It was not quite right. We break up, and my daughter is 3 months, and I get broken back down. Like, I'm completely broken at this point, because when we break up, it's not because I wanted to. It's because information was presented to me coinciding with the way I was being treated, the way I was not being cared for, the way I was being taken advantage of, the way I was just being treated really bad. And I could say that securely, because before I was like, oh, other people go through worse stuff. No, I was being treated like dirt. And I realized the reason I was able to be treated like that is because I didn't treat myself too good myself. Like, I didn't know how to. Now that I am older and wiser, and I've gone through this, I can say I would never in my life allow somebody to treat me less than I would treat myself. I treat myself like a queen. I love myself daily. Talk to myself good. I treat myself good. So there is no way that anybody could come into my life and tell me otherwise. It ain't no way somebody could come into my life and tell me that I'm not that one. It's no way now, because I've gone through the hurt and the pain and the tears and the ideations, and I've gone through all that pain, and I'm still here and I'm still surviving. So there's no way anybody can tell me otherwise. You can't tell me what I'm worth, because I know already. I don't need the validation. I don't need you to tell me, oh, you can't do that. How can you can't tell me shit? Because I done been through the motherfucking ringer at this point. In all these 26 years, everything has culminated, and I hope I'm using these words right. Everything has culminated to be where I am right now at this moment. And I'm grateful for everything. I don't regret anything, but it's the pain that stays with you that makes it hard. Because you gotta, to heal, you have to look in the face of that pain. You have to live in pain. You have to breathe in it. You have to, because you can't rush through it. Because if you rushing through the healing process, it's not gonna work. It's no such thing. And even to this day, I go back and forth in my mind thinking about what transpired and thinking about if I made the right choices and decisions. And sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I am secure in the decisions I made. Sometimes I'm saying, well, maybe this could still happen in the future. But all I know is that all I have and that all exists is right now. There's no such thing as the future right now, and the past is gone. So just giving myself grace and allowing myself to just being patient with myself, because healing is not linear, and it's no time frame on healing. Like I said, the initial breakdown of the relationship, I kind of like to say the initial breakdown was a 2019 incident, but the separation initiated in 2020. It's not 2023. And at the beginning of this year, I was really getting down on myself. Like, why am I still feeling this way? Why do I still have this freaking pain? It's been 3 years. Get over it. Like, get your shit together. And I was being mean to myself. And I'm talking to myself crazy, so much so that I had to start going back to therapy because I'm like, why aren't I healing? What am I doing wrong? I'm journaling every day. I'm putting myself out there. I'm being honest with myself, or so I think. I'm trying new things. I'm taking care of my body. I'm looking good. I'm dating or having sex. Like, I'm doing all these things. Why aren't I better yet? And the therapist basically said, like, don't be hard on yourself. You say it's been 3 years, but in reality, it really hasn't, because up until May of 2022, I was still having in my mind, okay, we could probably still give this a chance, until I was told that I was being released from the feelings I had. I release you from these feelings that you have for me. This is verbatim what I'm being told by my ex. Because I say, for the final time, I say, I can't keep doing this back and forth. I can't keep doing this will they, won't they. We've been separated for this amount of time. I'm done. Either we're going to sit down and actually work on something, or we're going to put the nail in the coffin. And I'm being told, I release you from them feelings that you have for me. We were too young to get married. Everything that we did was basically just discounting the whole experience. And it's like, I shed my final tears for the situation on that day, because it's like, how could you, it's like, it kind of make you think you're crazy. Like, how can I feel this way for this person? And they seem to not give a F about me. They seem like everything that was good never happened. It's like an erasure of my experience. And I'm like, okay. But I took that as a sign, and I made the step to file for divorce. And it was such a liberating experience. Like, the process of filing for divorce is like, it's like they don't want you to do it. Because it takes so long. You got to go up and down stairs. You got to sit in a room. You got to wait for paper. It's all paper, and it's stupid because, like, why do y'all act like we don't have emails? Why do y'all act like we're not living in a digital age? Why do I have to give all this paperwork up? But it's like, it was a freeing, cleansing experience going through that process, because I'm like, I am spending this money walking around downtown. I got a little taco from a taco truck, waited for paperwork to be filed. I missed the window and I had to wait extra time, but it didn't feel bad. Like, you know, sometimes when you're inconvenienced, you're like, oh man, I'm freaking mad about it. I took it as the universe saying, take a break, take a breather, taking this moment, taking this beautiful day, and appreciate the step you're making for yourself. You're making a decision for yourself. You're putting yourself first. And I felt like that was like, girl, you love yourself. You love yourself. And this is a few months after I start YouTube. And YouTube was really a catalyst for my self-love, because it takes a lot of guts to put yourself out there in front of whoever, to give your truth, to be in a camera, for people to judge you, for people to say mean stuff. Like, I'm putting myself out there for people to do anything with my image. Like, that was, it felt, every time I make a YouTube video, it is therapy. It is healing. It is affirmation. It is validation that I'm giving to myself. And it's such a meaningful piece of my journey. I'm so grateful for it. And I'm feeling real blessed. And like, what prompted me to make this video was because I honestly feel like I just came to the revelation that I really do love myself. And previously, I didn't so much. I didn't. And I feel like a lot of people can relate to this. I know people in my life that can relate to this. I can't tell anybody how to live, how to feel about themselves. I do my best to encourage people with the way I live, but all I can do is act with good intentions. I can't make somebody see something that they don't want to see. I can't do anything like that. I try to share my experiences openly. I try to give encouragement to people. But ultimately, until it's time to see, you won't. Because had I been open with how I was feeling in my relationship, in my marriage, had I been very transparent, had I spoken to people, I probably would have got the same advice that I give to some people today. Like, girl, that's not right. I actually remember one of the first times that I actually broke down and shed some light on how I was doing, how the relationship was going. And it wasn't even to one of my family members. It was to in-law. And they said, girl, I did not know you was going through that over there. You do not deserve that. And that was the first time I ever thought, like, I don't deserve this, do I? Because all this time I'm thinking, whoop, this is what I signed up for. Till death do us part. I have to suffer. And that's not true. It's not true. Don't let anything keep you in a place of not feeling healthy. You don't deserve that. It don't matter. Kids, marriage, a shared pet. Don't let nothing keep you in a space that's preventing growth. Don't let anything constrict your roots and keep you from reaching your full potential. You can't, because you're responsible for your happiness. You're responsible for loving yourself first. If you're putting all of your emotions and feelings and your self-worth into another person, another being, you're going to lose, because you're the only person that's with you for a lifetime. Anybody else can go. And not to say that there's not any benefit to having someone outside to love. Like, we're social creatures. We need community. We need people around us. We require that social connection. And when it's healthy, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. But anything that's unhealthy can go. We can get the fuck on. I'm submitting to the fact that anything that's not contributing to my growth can die. Not like I want people to die, but situations, the relationships can die. They can get the fuck on. And that goes for anybody, anything, anywhere. Because life is too short to participate in the fake and fraud. I try my best to be as real as possible. There's so much more to unpack. There's so much more that can be said. But I'm going to say right now, I am drained. Let me know in the comments about your self-healing journey, about what has prompted you to love yourself a little bit more. Let me know if you want to hear more of my story. I can share more. I can't do it right now. I done had enough. You ain't got to worry about me right now. I done had enough of this for right now. But we'll see how this video is received. And honestly, this was just clearing and cleansing for me. I'm good. But if it will help somebody else, if hearing more of my story will help somebody else heal, if, I just want to, I think with this content creation that I'm doing, it's very important for me to bear it all and just be my authentic self. Because I feel like so much of what we consume is surface level. And it's pounding in to people that there's only one way to exist. And certain things should be ignored. And that, it's just erasing so many people's experience. And I don't want to be that type of person. If I'm contributing anything to this world, I want it to be something of substance, something that means something, something that matters, something that's going to change the trajectory of somebody's existence. And there's so many content creators, so many books, so many things I've come across that have really put things in perspective for me. Podcasts, things that have planted little seeds in my brain. And man, it's a blessing. Social media is a blessing. It could be a curse. It's definitely a blessing in my life because of the way I use my social media, but it's power behind our words and our stories, and more of them need to be shared, especially the negative stories, because I feel like through the hardships we go through, joy is always on the other side. If you allow it to be that, if you allow your situations to teach you, then you can't lose. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I don't know if I'm going to cross some more, but I know I'm hungry and I have to take care of myself. I appreciate you guys for watching this video. I appreciate you guys for watching the previous video. I appreciate you guys for continuing to participate in this thing I call the hobbyist. And I want to inspire you to find the hobbyist in you. I want to inspire you to live in your truth. I want to inspire you to heal, to grow, to love, to learn, to laugh, to create you. I want to inspire all that stuff. So thank you guys for being here with me along on this journey. As always, peace.